Hi, my name is Peter Parker. We used to know each other. But the truth is, I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man. God, that's cool. Here we go. And sometimes, Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. Let's end this on a high note, huh?
Oh, you've stumbled across my board. I'm not one of those weirdos, I swear.
Oh, cool.
I actually created this app that monitors his sightings.
Hey, I'm nearby.
Wait, you created Spidey Tracker?
You heard of it?
Alert, alert.
Hey, heads up! You okay, kid? Yeah, you're okay.
And then, the Spidey Tracker app says that Spider-Man is in the direct vicinity.
Oh, yeah? No way, that's crazy.
I'm nearby. Hey, I'm near.
I'm not like a weirdo or anything. No.
He's a little weird.
This whole thing can get really scary.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion?
You think I'm Scorpion?
We're faced with a threat. That can be anyone.
The people who love you
Hey!
You just have to trust me.
Fine.
love you because you're you.
Just gonna let him go by himself?
Never forget that, no matter how powerful you become.
I miss you, May.
You're okay.
Spider-Man, brand new day.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel and Sony released a new Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references, so we'll break it all down. All you have to do now, Marvel and Sony, is just send us all of our invites in the mail to the premiere. We're just going to assume that they've been lost in the mail for the last couple of weeks. We'll just wait to see if they show up pretty soon. Probably the biggest new thing here is Spider-Man constructing his own version of a tiny little Hulkbuster, pulling an Iron Man, like father, like son, gonna try and stop the Hulk, not gonna work exactly the way that they think it's going to work. This is probably one of the coolest trailers that they've revealed just in terms of Easter eggs and how deep it goes with what's happening with Spider-Man in this part of the timeline. Like he goes full science bro and tries to knock the Hulk out using his own mini Hulkbuster.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
If you're talking about power scaling the MCU, Spider-Man here seems like he's already gone through his transformation in the movie and gotten his upgraded powers, upgraded abilities, so he's already a bit stronger than he was before, but he's also now using the Hulkbuster arm to punch the Hulk with this giant energy punch. So I would put the power of this punch on par with the Hulkbuster's punch during Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, that's how much it'll affect the Hulk. And it really just slowed him down for a second and pissed him off a little bit more. So he will probably be able to knock the Hulk back a little bit, but he's not going to absolutely stop the Hulk with this punch. Based on the fact that they're still inside his office when they're fighting here, and we see all the footage from the other trailers of them spilling out, like they crash out of the office and fall to the street, this only just pushes them out into the street. The early theory right now is that it was Sadie Sink's Jean Grey character who caused him to Hulk out in the first place. She loses control because the Hulk's mind is so powerful, and then eventually is able to reassert control and help him calm back down with her powers. But I also love the way that Daniel Destin Cretton, the director, is filming this whole scene, because it seems like a big sequence in the movie, how acrobatic Spider-Man seems in the way that they actually frame the shot with him running up the wall and against the Hulk. Spider-Man has never looked so good in the MCU. Spider-Man's cinematography, just on all levels in this movie, across this movie, just seem fantastic. But while this is going on, you have to remember that the Punisher is also here for this too, trying to help Spider-Man. Either way, Iron Man, who died in the MCU, would be proud of him in the afterlife, wherever the alternate dimension that represents his afterlife exists. That kind of explained that in the Moon Knight series, that when you die in the MCU, your consciousness just transfers to another dimension based on your belief system or any contracts that you made with higher beings like gods. Iron Man was probably an atheist, so his consciousness probably transferred to some realm that was like that. It also seems like they gave the Savage version of the Hulk, Green Hulk, a big glow up in the movie just in terms of his visualization. He looks fantastic. The Hulk people have been asking to see since Avengers Age of Ultron, like, when are you going to bring back the crazy Savage Hulk? One of the other cool things is that the art book for the movie Spider-Man Brand New Day already leaked out for some reason. I don't know how somebody got their hands on it, but there's concept art for the actual Grey Hulk. For people that thought the Grey Hulk was going to be in the movie, they were thinking about putting him in the movie. And notice how monstrous they made his face. The description for this too reads that they tried to make him look way more monstrous, but at some point they decided not to put Grey Hulk in the movie. So I don't think Grey Hulk now is actually in the movie, and he's still just going to be Green Savage Hulk and just get really, really mad. Madder than he's ever been in a very long time in the MCU.
Puny human.
But it is cool that they thought about turning him into an even more monstrous-looking Grey Hulk, which is a little bit different from the Grey Hulk in the comics. He was more of a chatty version of Hulk, and he wasn't as powerful as Green Savage Hulk, but you get the idea. They were trying to turn him into, like, the craziest version of the Hulk that he's turned into in the MCU so far. The way Destin Daniel Cretton, the director, Kevin Feige, all the people at Marvel have talked about this movie is that they're using it to make a creative reset on the Spider-Man character going forward in the MCU, the same way that they used Thor Ragnarok to make a creative reset on the Thor character in that franchise. So they treated Thor Ragnarok like it was the beginning of a new Thor trilogy. But in the case of them doing a creative reset for Spider-Man Brand New Day, it literally is the beginning of a new trilogy, Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. And while they're doing a creative reset on the Spider-Man character, like the way he moves, the way he acts, the way he just exists in the MCU, the way everybody else perceives him, the way he interacts with everybody else, they're also doing the same thing for the Hulk. Big creative reset, because we've had the smart Professor Hulk for so long, it just feels like there was really nowhere for that character to go, so they needed to take him back to Savage Hulk. Also helps that there were a lot of fans out there, like a giant portion of the fandom, that wanted to see the Savage Hulk again. Probably the next biggest Easter egg is a giant Andrew Garfield joke that they have in the trailer where Ned is trying to find out who Spider-Man is and he wonders if he's British. That's meant to be a reference to Andrew Garfield, who is a British person that plays Spider-Man. Tom Holland is also British as well too. Within the context of Ned's theories here too, the idea is that they went to Europe on their school trip and they had adventures with Spider-Man there, but they didn't know it was Peter Parker because of Doctor Strange's spell, so they just think that if he showed up in Europe, he might be British. But the joke is that Spider-Man has been British twice, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. There are also a lot of scenes about his Spidey tracker that they actually baked into the plot of the movie where he actually is able to detect Spider-Man and is just freaking out because he's literally in their apartment like, oh, that's why it's going off, because you're 2 feet in front of me. Next coolest scene in this trailer is what seems like a reference to the Crazy 88 scene in Kill Bill with Spider-Man in the middle of the prison, like he's in the middle of the cell with all the hand behind him as they get ready to try and fight him. Fail, obviously, because this is like right before he does his giant web tornado on them. But you also notice he doesn't have his mask on during this scene, so the Hand now know who Spider-Man is. We will see how they resolve this. I mean, he can really knock them out. He's not going to kill them, so the only other way for them to leave this movie not knowing who Spider-Man is or not holding that over his head or blackmailing him with it is if Punisher kills them, which I also not totally sure that he's going to do, or if they just try to honor the deal by being beaten by him and some deal is reached and they don't reveal his identity immediately after this. Usually movies are pretty good about explaining logic like that, but I just absolutely love the way they filmed this fight scene. Jackie Chan's stunt team actually helped them make this movie, so there should be a lot of Jackie Chan energy with his fight scenes and just the way that he moves in general, just way more acrobatic like comic book Spider-Man. You also have to remember this fight is happening after he gets his enhanced abilities too, which is why he is able to see the throwing star fly past his eyes because his agility has been raised so much. Then we get a couple more scenes, what seemed like much earlier in the movie when he's fighting Scorpion in his full Scorpion gear and he has his cold weather gear on, like this is taking place during the winter, so it's relatively soon after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. What might be happening in this scene is it just part of the early movie where they do a montage and explain what he's been up to for the past couple of years since the events of No Way Home. Like he's been friendly neighborhood Spider-Man around the town just trying to stop villains and save people. I also think the idea is this is meant to foreshadow his later fight with Scorpion, like later in the movie, where you see him up against the damage control person trying to kill them, and Spider-Man tries to save the damage control guard, but he winds up crashing because he can't control his new enhanced powers yet. We get the longer version of his Scorpion fight that time, and because he's skitzing out on his powers, Scorpion is able to get the better of him, but then is confused when Scorpion says, "You think that I'm Scorpion?" as if it's Jean Grey, Sadie's Sink, controlling his mind, or possibly someone else. I know that a lot of theories about all the mind hopping and the jumping and secret villains, they haven't fully revealed yet. We will see how that goes. I would hold all those theories very loosely, but my early assumption is that the movie is simpler just in terms of plotting and characters than people think that it is. We get a couple more scenes of MJ and Punisher when he takes her to his lair to protect her from whatever he's about to fight here. It seems like it's before the Hulk fight because MJ tells Punisher, like she's the person that gets him to go help Spider-Man. You just gonna let him do this by himself? My assumption in the movie is that Punisher is just doing his own thing around New York City, like he has his own goals during the movie. They just happen to intersect with Spider-Man. So eventually, after they butt heads, he starts helping him because their goals start to align. The early scuttlebutt is that Punisher's goals have something to do with helping Sadie Sink's Jean Grey character, so we'll see how that works out in the movie. Destin Daniel Cretton and the Marvel people have said, like, the real theme of the movie is essentially Spider-Man learning to reconnect with other people, people learning to reconnect with other people, because he's become so isolated the past couple of years, thinking that he has to be Spider-Man 24/7 because May told him great power, great responsibility, and he thinks that that's what the message meant, but he interpreted it wrong.
So not only is everyone else going to forget who Peter Parker is, but Peter Parker is going to forget who Peter Parker is.
When in reality, it's his relationships with his friends and the people that he loves that help him be the best person that he can possibly be, the best Spider-Man, the best Peter Parker he can be. And if he forgets that, he's in danger of losing himself, so to speak. And they use this as a sort of metaphor for his body horror transformation into this man-spider type of creature. Even though I don't think they're going to go full man-spider, he's worried that it's going to mutate into actual man-spider. Like, if it continues, that's where he's headed. We did see a little actual man-spider from the comics in Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir. Great series, but that was rated R. This Spider-Man movie is meant to be firm PG-13 so that people can take their little kids to see the movie. So I don't think they're going to go full body horror in the same way they did during Spider-Man Noir. But I also think that there's a lot of stuff that they're not showing us in the trailers. Like, even though there have been a lot of trailers, a lot of footage, we've seen a lot of the movie, they're still only showing us like a tiny sliver of what actually happens. And obviously, they're trying to hide Sadie Sink's character as much as possible, which I think is kind of hilarious. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the new trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video. Now that we're getting closer to Comic-Con and the movie actually hitting theaters, we'll probably see a couple more clips, a little bit more footage. Whatever they do wind up releasing, of course I'll do videos for it. We're supposed to get a big Avengers Doomsday trailer at Comic-Con with a big Marvel panel. We'll see what actually winds up happening. Whatever happens there too, I will also try to do videos for as much of it as possible. There's so much stuff happening this month, we are eating good. Everybody click here for all those new trailer videos, and everybody click here for all my new X-Men 97 episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.